Hey everyone, my name's Andrew Hess. Today we're going to recreate the email template that's in Power Apps. It's not very modern yet, it doesn't look very great. Let's recreate that and let's make awesome emails in Power Apps. We're going to go through all the details, the FX formula. Let's get into it. Let's create some emails through Power Apps. Okay, so we're on a blank Power App. What I want to do is go to New Screen right here, and I want to pull in the old email template. Now this email template is not responsive, although it's kind of like fake responsive. But when you go to New Screen, you can see these templates up here are all responsive. They have like a little cell phone right beside them. But then down here, these ones are not as responsive and they're not modern. So now I'm going to pull in the header footer. And I kind of like this. It is responsive. So responsive is not on yet. We need to turn that on. So if we go to settings and in display, we can turn off lock aspect ratio and scale to fit. That way it becomes responsive. Okay. And I'm just going to delete the footer here because there's only two parts to my email. All right. So now I'm going to go back to screen 2 where we pulled in that template. So I'm going to grab a few specific parts here. I'm going to grab the two here, subject. I'm holding down control as I click on each of these. The message and the add a message. I'm also going to grab the people browse gallery. Now the email people gallery, I'm going to recreate. So I'm just going to press Control X to cut. And in my main container here, I'm going to paste everything over. All right, so now if I come in here and I search, I don't think anything should show up yet. Well, we have my name, but it's not populating in there. If we go back to screen 2, we can see it did populate here, right? But I want to recreate this. So I'm going to go to my main container 1, insert a new gallery, and it's going to be another vertical gallery. And the vertical gallery is going to have a layout of blank. Right, and you can see it's taking up a lot of space right now. We just want to fix that. The height of the gallery maybe is too large. Let's drop it down to 200 for now. Maybe even smaller, 150 for now, or maybe a 100. We'll just leave the height as it is now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a container. So just a regular container. And I want it to be inside my gallery. So let's make sure I'm inside my gallery here. Go inside my gallery, okay? So it's inside my gallery. I'm going to change the color of it so we can see it. All right, so we have a few here. Now I want to increase it. I'll give it a wrap count. So the wrap count is going to be 4. So it's kind of just very similar as before. The container is too big. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Also, I want to round the corners here. So for the container, I'm going to say a border radius of 20. Okay, give us more rounded container. Now I'm going to insert a text label. So this one is going to be this item dot display name. And let's see what's wrong with it now. The gallery is my people. Okay, so the items of the gallery is my people, my name here, or this item dot display name. Then I want an image actually, because I want to put my picture there. I want my face to be there. I'm going to put an image right here, and this image is going to be, I'm going to do Office 365 users photo v2 version 2, and then I believe what it wants is the ID. So then we'll pull in the ID, and let's see, does that populate? Maybe it did populate and just that person. Let's see. Okay, so the images are populating. So just my name. This is like my external account. It doesn't have a picture. Now I want an X right here. So just like before, this icon, I'll probably just grab this icon right out of here and pull it into my container. I'll pull it right in there. The colors are a little off. let's see, what can we do for the colors? Let's make this, for the container, I'll change it to like a dark gray. Now you can change whatever colors you want it to be, right? Change whatever colors you'd like. The font, we're going to make white. There we go. Now that's popping out. And so if I hit X here, it deletes it out. Let's try adding some more people. Spider-Man. Pull him in there. Let's rearrange some things. So this gallery, let's highlight this gallery. I'm going to hold down Control and that square bracket. And I'm going to move it up to where I'd like. In this gallery, I'm going to hold down Control and use the other square bracket and move it down below. All right, so I'm going to leave it just like it is with 8 people. You can see it fits in there just nice. We have the scroll bar turned on. So now if there's more than 8 people, you can scroll and you can see all the people. Now, one issue is if we shrink down to the phone size. So if we go down to phone size, it doesn't fit in there correctly. Now, if you notice in my message here, I did screen.size. What I want to do is for the name, I want to say it's visible if screen3.size equals 1, then it's not visible, else it's true. So let's take a look at that now. So now when we scroll down, we can see it resizes itself. But now I want the width of the entire container to change. So I'm going to say the width is equal to parent.width divided by 4. So since there's 4 rows, now when we shrink down, we can see it resizes itself. We still don't have that X there. I want the X to kind of shift over. So the only thing left is to move the X value of our X here. So the X value is going to be gallery1 dot template width minus self dot width. And so now it will resize itself based on the size. And so there we go. Now we have it lined up, and maybe we want the scroll bar to disappear. Maybe I don't want the scroll bar here. You can decide if you want the scroll bar or not. Maybe you like the show navigation better. And so we have the show navigation here. All right, so I think I finally got it where I like, maybe I'll do parent.width minus 4 minus 3. Just to give it a little bit more space in there. So I'll put some parentheses in there. So when I press play, we can see they fit right in there. I can still click on my X and remove someone. There's not much space in here. Maybe we'll add a little bit of space with our gallery. So that's going to be on our main container. We'll add a gap of maybe 3, maybe 5. Maybe 5 is just right. So now we have a little bit of a gap in there. All right, so now let's resize the message, right? The message is not fitting in there perfectly. I want the height of the message to be, let's see, flexible. So right here, text, email, message. I'm going to turn on flexibility. So now it's flexible. The default is going to be blank. So now it says add a message. So we have that. We're looking good. I'm liking the way this looks. We have our people that we can search for. So let's try and search for someone. So Andrew, let's see it pops open. Well, it pops open a good bit of space in there. You can add someone. Is it too much space? Let's see. So there's only 2 people that I can find at a time. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So to me, it's not too much space. I like the way this looks. So if it searches a bunch of people, it still fits in there just fine. Now I want to work on the top part here. So let's go back to screen 2. And I'm going to grab, let's see, I'm just going to grab this icon. I just want the icon. I don't like the bar up there. I think that's pretty ugly. So I'm going to grab the icon. I'm going to put it in, but it needs to be in a container, the header container. And it needs to justify itself and take up all that space. So now let's add in our header container. Let's insert a label. And I'm going to switch the places of them, holding down Control. I'm going to hit the bracket. So there we go. We switched the spots of them. Now I want this to be a flexible width. So flexible width I'm going to turn on. The icon I'm going to turn on flexible width, and it's going to go half and half. Right? So let's go to the header container. I'm going to give it a color instead of white. We'll give it maybe like a gray. Maybe a blue. Do we like a blue in there? How about like an icy blue? Icy blue. Okay, now instead of having it take up all that space, I'm going to go to my icon and fill portions on the text, actually, on the text. I'm going to go to the fill portions. I'm going to say 5, maybe a little bit more, maybe 8. So now we have our button here. We can't click on it until we write. Right, our button is not going to highlight till we write, but now it's working. I want the color here to change. So let's do the color, maybe a gray. Let's give it that same gray. Now, if you see here, I don't want there to be a gap in between these two spots. So now the main container, I'm going to remove the border, and this is just me being picky. This is just me being picky, and it's kind of like what I want to do. That's why I say I would like you guys to also try and do this yourselves. But if you want to download this, I'm going to put it in GitHub. You'll just be able to download my template here. So border radius. So let's see here. Border radius, top left, I want to be 0. Top right, I want to be 0. And this one, the border of our header, the bottom left, I want to be 0. The radius bottom right, I want to be 0. And then I'm going to remove the gap of my screen container. So the gap here becomes 0. So now it kind of all flows together. But now the colors are a little off. Maybe this should not be this color. We'll make it like a very faint white, and this will say email. Maybe we'll change the font type. Email through, you could say Power Apps, maybe through app, maybe app. Some people don't understand. So actually, some users don't even know they're in Power Apps. So why label it Power Apps? Just send email through app. So we can take a look at different sizes. It's looking good here. Let's take a look at a tablet. Still looking pretty good. I like the way that looks. It's nice and responsive. Take a look at this. A lot of people, when they use Power Apps, they don't realize that you can email straight through Power Apps. Look at the equation here on the on select. So you're actually using an Office 365 Outlook, right? So that's our connection here. So if we look here, we're using Office 365 Outlook, and this is how we're sending our email. So we're sending our email to the string that we're creating. This is all out of the box, out of the template. And you notice it's sending the subject, and then it's sending the email message. And look in here, importance. There's more things that you can do. So you have attachments. You have blind carbon copy, CC, from, importance, is HTML. Let's do that. I like turning on HTML. Let's say true. And now what I'm going to do is, instead of this text box here, I'm going to come over and I'm going to insert, and let's see if we can find it, the rich text editor. So the rich text editor, in order for me to do this simply, I'm just going to take this one here. Let me move myself. I'm in the way again. So I'm going to take text email message. I'm going to rename it, copy. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to rename my rich text editor the same thing as that one was. I'm then going to do flexible height, and the width I also want to be the full width. So now we have some rich text editing here, and the text will be blank. So now we have a rich text editor. So, hi, how are you? And then you can do, bold if you'd like. And so now when you hit the send email button, it's going to send that HTML, which we need to connect. So instead of email text message.1, it's actually .html text. And since we have is HTML is true on, it's now going to send that HTML along with it. So now we have a nice rich text editor if we want in here. We can do headings. We can, write normal again. And we're going to get this HTML text when we write. Let's see how it looks on the phone. On the phone, the rich text editor does not fit perfectly. We need to do the width. And this needs to be parent.width. Okay, so let's double check that. Now, it's still not fitting in there perfect. And the reason it's not fitting in there perfect is the minimum width is a little too high. Let's make it 100. So now it's fitting in there. It kind of resizes itself. So the HTML text is now working because we changed the minimum width. So now, I guess what we need to do is just send an email and check it out. So we have a new nice looking app. I'm sure you guys can create something even better than me, but I'm going to put this in GitHub and you can download it. Maybe you want to edit it, change it how you'd like. Maybe you want different patterns in here. There's all kinds of neat little things we can do. So let's take another look here at the FX formula. Let's just kind of take a look in here. Is there anything else we wanted to do? We have is HTML on. Sensitivity. Maybe you wanted to make, different sensitivity labels. Maybe you want to add CC and BCC. No, you can do that just fine, all you want. Attachments. I'm not going to go on that today. I feel like that's a whole nother entire video. So let me just package this up. There's a few more things we can do. I'm going to delete the screen too. It's going to make a bunch of red X's because, let's see, email, people, gallery. This is going to be gallery 1. And we're not going to use this. Kind of fix a couple things. Gallery 1. Gallery 1. And the icon, we want it to just be color.white. So we got rid of all the red X's. I think now we are ready to write this over. So now you can use this as a template. I think next week we'll work on more things. Maybe we'll show how to add a gallery to this email, how to do some other things. That'll be pretty neat. Let's just take one real quick look. Let's send the email. So it turns blank. Here's an error, right? So it's saying, hey, the user photo is blank. That's what this error is. So let's fix that real quick. So we're getting an error here, and this happens a lot when you use Office 365 users. And what we want to do is say, if this item, and we want to say is blank, if this item is blank, then we do nothing else. We populate an image, and that will fix this item.id. That will fix that error. So now, if we have some people in here, and we send a new message, new email, hey, check this out. And we send a new email and we send it, we no longer get that error. So I guess the final touch is, let's take a look at the email. So here's my email box. You can see all the email it went to. You can see how now it picked up that HTML for the text. We have this one also. We sent an email to all those people. Now in my dev environment, not everybody has an email address. Only a few of them actually have an email address. But if you want to check that out, let's say, oh, you want to debug this, right? You want to debug it. Take a look at the send button here and look how it concatenates everybody with the mail. Pull that in to your text box if you want, or throw it in a random label. But if you see it here, it then shows each of the people that it's going to email. So let's see, Iron Man. If we select them, obviously I haven't set up a mailbox on everyone, but you can see how each of the people can then be selected. So that's one way to debug this. It is all working now. So I'm just going to make this blank. You should be able to take this, use this email. Maybe we'll pull this off just a little tiny bit. Maybe we'll add a little bit of padding on the left of 15. There we go. So now on the phone, we take a look at the phone. We got it all working. Perfect to me, looks beautiful. I love it. My name is Andrew Hess. This will be in GitHub. If there's any issues, feel free to let me know and we'll get them fixed. Thank you all for watching. My name is Andrew Hess. See you next time.